Welcome back to Political Ray with me, Ray. We got some stuff going on. There's a lot happening with the fires in California still. There's a lot of things flying around, a lot of stuff happening. Look, what it boils down to is pretty much it's just mismanagement, and a lot of people are saying it, but it that's what it boils down to is mismanagement by the governor, by the mayor, who was off in Ghana, by the way, not worrying about the fires. She was off doing her own thing, trying to get political clout or whatever she was doing. But she wasn't there worrying about it. She was off doing her own thing. Newsom has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to try and manage a situation that could happen like this and didn't do anything. Plus, you've got the fire department worrying about DEI and everything else instead of worrying about trying to take care of LA County and the possibility of a fire like this happening. Instead, they weren't worried about it. Spending money on homeless that didn't do anything, plus, DEI initiatives and everything else, and just it's a train wreck, and it's up to the leadership to take care of these possible situations. They didn't do anything about it. They didn't care about it. Now they're facing music for it, and a lot of people are seeing it. And look, Gavin Newsom. A lot of people think he was the front runner for the next Democratic presidential nomination. I don't see it happening after this. The mismanagement that he has showed in that state, obviously he's not doing a good job, and people are seeing it. So we're gonna get into that. There's a lot of stuff as far as this wildfire stuff. Every time I thought I was ready to go ahead and start this, I saw something else that I wanted to put in because it's just one thing after another, and things that they could have done differently, but they chose to do the woke agenda instead, and now they're paying the price for it. So let's get into this. This is just something. Look, President Trump, now officially President elect Donald Trump, since he was certified on Tuesday. Everything went smoothly. I watched it. Everything went fine. Kamala Harris wasn't too happy about everything, but hey, that tends to happen. So unplug that so it stops beeping at us. Kamala Harris wasn't happy about it, but I don't I don't blame her for that. I wouldn't be happy if I was certifying my opponent for the presidential election. I wouldn't like it either. I won't hold that against her, but it was kind of surreal to watch, and I'm not gonna lie, I did take a little bit of joy in it, watching her, having to certify her opponents, having to watch her certify President Trump as the next president. I'm not gonna lie, I did take a little bit of joy in it, so I won't deny that. But anyway, we get into this. This is like I said, this is President Trump back on when he was on Rogan. He called this. He said it was that state that Governor Newsom, or as he calls him, Newscum, was mismanaging that state, and that it was going to turn out badly. He called it. He called it, and this is just like I said. This is him calling it and saying what was going to happen, and now it is.
They said, "We have no water." I said, "Do you have a drought?" "No, we don't have a drought." I said, "Why don't you have no water?" "Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north. Water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. I could have water for all of that land, water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You could have everything. Oh, not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And there's a case with the environment. They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. And all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of leaves that are sitting there for 5 years, and
We'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
and get rid of the trees that are fallen
Yeah.
are like.
Look, like I said, one of the things that they did that mismanaged the state. Look, forest management. They had a bill. I think it was 2014 that was put forth, and Newsom said no. Well, no, we're not going to do that. It's just a lot of stuff that piled up and piled up and piled up. and they didn't do anything about it. They had the opportunities to take care of the situation. Look, when you've got a forest region and you don't take care of the deadfall, as President Trump said, it causes problems. That stuff can ignite like that. It's just and it can run wild, especially with the winds that California is having right now. You're not going to be able to have very much success in containing the fire like that, especially with the winds going like they are. I mean, there was gusts. I seen a video of a McDonald's on fire, and the wind was just blowing so bad that the embers off the trees were starting other fires. It's just nuts. There's a lot of stuff. Now I'll give them credit. There's a lot of stuff that they could have done that they didn't. There's a lot of stuff that they can't do because of the wind and everything else as well. But there's a lot of stuff that they could have done to help manage this situation that they chose not to do, and it's on the leadership there in California is 100%. Now this is we're going to take a look at this. This is President Biden saying that he's going to allocate 100%, to help out, um, the fire management and people being displaced and everything else. But we'll take a listen to this real quick.
This morning, due to the magnitude of the disaster, I was talking with the governor. He requested if I could increase the federal funding that was authorized under this legislation from 75% to 90%. We're increasing it to 100% of all the costs to be covered by the federal government for both the fire management assistance grants and the elements of what they call the disaster declaration. So today I'm announcing that the federal government will cover 100% of the cost for 180 days. This is going to pay for things like debris and hazard material removal, temporary shelters, first responders' salaries, and all necessary measures to protect life and property. And folks, I want to underscore, I told the governor and local officials, spare no expense to do what they need to do and contain these fires and in their communities that are really been devastated. This morning, due to the...
Look, okay, so I don't have a problem with this. I think they should allocate what they need to maintain and control this. But as of right now, as far as I know, they've contained zero of the fires that are burning. There's been new fires that people themselves are lighting. I've seen videos of people throwing gasoline cans onto fires to help spread. It's been crazy. Look, like I said, I don't disagree with this move. I approve of it. I think it's good. I think you should help those people there. I think you should help try and contain the fire. I think you should do whatever you can to help squall this, get this disaster taken care of and over with. That being said, what happened to the problem I have with this is what happened in North Carolina, and people are still displaced there. FEMA running out of money because they spent too much money with the illegal immigrants. You've got all that kind of stuff, okay? So how come California gets spared no expense, but North Carolina didn't get pretty much jack all? FEMA got sent out there, but they didn't do anything. They ran out of money, and they weren't. If you had a Trump sign in front of your house, they weren't stopping at your house. That's the problem I have with this. California gets spared no expense, but North Carolina gets left by the wayside. I don't get that. I don't agree with that, and I think it should be 100% for natural disasters like this, hurricanes, fires, anything. North Carolina should have been taken care of a lot more than what it should have been. Okay, but California gets spared no expense. That's the problem I have with this. That being said, there, it's just it's crazy to me how one state gets, because it's Hollywood. It's their friends, it's their pals. LA is burning to the ground, and they want to contain it. That's where a lot of their donors are there. So they're going to help out however they can. Like I said, I don't disagree with it. I think they should help however they can. But they should have helped North Carolina however they could too, instead of, holding back and doing what they did there. Anyway, now Ron DeSantis, I saw this, and DeSantis got asked about the situation. He just kind of went off. But check this out.
President-elect a president to be
Is it
criticizing.
appropriate for people in your industry to try to create division and to try to create narratives anytime these things happen? Now, you're not as interested in doing that because Newsom is a D. If Newsom
They asked him about the criticism that Newsom's been getting. Just to add context.
was a Republican, you guys would go you would have him nailed to the wall for what they're doing over there. And
It's
I
true.
know we dealt with it. We just assume in Florida, anytime something happens, it's going to be politicized by the media. So you guys sitting in judgment of Donald Trump, I mean, excuse me, I think your track record of politicizing these things is very, very bad.
Okay, last question.
Newsom should resign and that the wildfires are all his fault. So do you agree with those comments?
I remember when we had the Surfside Tower collapse, I had people from the Washington Post trying to blame me for it immediately without having any facts or anything. Oh, he didn't declare a state of emergency. First of all, state of emergency doesn't mean you can't respond. It's all that. Excuse me?
Biden did it. I think that's what she's saying.
Well, but what I'm telling you is you guys are trying to make an issue of it when I have watched from this seat. In fact, when I got elected governor, I was meeting with some of the other Republican governors, and what they would say is, hey, if you have a natural disaster, just know media's coming at you, they're going to do it. It's not the same. That mayor of L.A., if that were a Republican mayor, I could only imagine what that would do. I mean, you know the fires are at high risk, and you try to go to Africa or wherever she was.
Exactly.
Type of voyage. You should have been there preparing and doing
Yes.
that. And yet I don't see a lot of heat being directed in that thing. And so, I'd like to see some balance on how this is done. You could criticize the president-elect, but I think you also have to hold these other people accountable, and I have not seen that.
Exactly. Look, he said it outright. I said it at the beginning of the video. She's out gallivanting in Ghana and doing whatever she wants to do when she should have been. Look, the threat was there already. And she left. So why wasn't she there preparing? That's what he was saying. Now Karen Bass, the mayor, look, she's just as bad as Newsom. And it's crazy to me. Look, she was asked some questions. I don't know where she was. Looks like she was at an airport terminal, coming back from Ghana, perhaps, and being asked about the fires. And you just check this out.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
I think she is.
Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing
Just
with
completely ignoring this guy. Just completely ignoring. Does not care at all.
No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
She doesn't care. She was off doing her own thing. She don't care. She was elected mayor to help the citizens of that city. And she doesn't care. She's not going to answer no questions. She don't care. She's got nothing to say. She don't care. And she's just going to walk away. Excuse me.
Madam Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today?
She's not going to answer nothing. I give him credit for keep going after her, but she's not going to say it. She don't care.
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
And she's out. Not a care in the world. Don't care. No. She can't be bothered. She can't be bothered with it. She don't care. Anyway. And as far as the budget goes, look. The budget. This is from 7 ABC 7 now. This is a local news channel. But I mean, look at this. I mean, the budget, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the budget wasn't cut," and blah blah blah. Yes, it was. $17.5 million from the fire department budget. Months before the fire started. People are saying that's not true. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Don't tell me it's not true. It is true. Anyway, I saw a clip. I'm everybody knows I watched Tim Pool. I saw a clip of his that I wanted to share because it's I think it's perfect. He sums it up perfectly, and I think that people should hear it. So we'll take a look at this real quick, and you can tell me.
Is this just environmental catastrophe? As we heard from Joe Rogan, was it just, sooner or later, these winds are going to ignite the entirety of LA? Or could this have been prevented? I raise you, my friends, that this could have been mitigated, but the political ideology and the unwillingness to do what needed to be done is resulting in this fire being substantially worse than it should have been. Maybe it shouldn't have been at all. While we are
Shouldn't have been.
that they don't have enough firefighters or resources, we can cite this story. LA County fired 113 LA firefighters because they would not comply with the vaccine mandate.
That's
Or
a true
maybe
story
it's
as well.
because LA Mayor Karen Bass cut $17.6 million of fire department funding and gave $28 million to illegal immigrants. Or how about it's because LA gave surplus supplies to Ukraine. But don't worry, folks. California may be burning, but rest assured, we may be factually incorrect, but we are morally right. I think that's what AOC said, right? Because California prioritized diversity, equity, and inclusion over substance. The LA mayor prioritized diversity in hiring firefighters. They were concerned too many of their firefighters were white. Well,
Yeah.
I got news for you,
Are
California.
you kidding me?
The majority of people in this country are white. It's not a problem.
Look, I'm gonna say this right. Who gives two flying craps about the fact that too many of the firefighters are white? Who cares? As long as they can do the job. Who cares? I mean, you're gonna go off and you're gonna start a DE. Look, they started a DEI thing within the fire department in LA to try and get more women hired. It's insane to me. Who cares? I don't care. Look, I don't care what you do in the bedroom. I don't care. All I care about is if you're a firefighter, if you can do the job. Get somebody qualified who can do the job, okay? But they're going to prioritize this DEI BS over somebody who can actually do the job. It's insane to me. It's the same thing with the military putting in the DEI crap in there. I don't care. I don't. I want qualified people who can do the job, but they don't worry about that. All they want to check those boxes and make sure that they're covered as far as the DEI crap that goes on. And this is just another one. It's insane to me. Look, check this out.
Los Angeles Fire Department is launching its first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau. It is dedicated to ensuring a fair and equal workplace environment.
Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero is live in North Hollywood with more on what it entails and why it's necessary. Christian?
Ellen, Colleen, the discrepancies are stark, even just on paper. The LAFD this year hired its first ever female chief, and it says so far this year, 8% of its applicants have been women. That might sound like a small number, but it's actually twice the percentage of female firefighters currently in the department. Every day, the LAFD is called
Look,
upon.
I'm going to say this is not to be sexist. This is not to be, but it's scientifically proven that, look, firefighting is a very physically demanding job. There's very low numbers. Now, women can do the job. I'm not saying that they can't, but there's a very low percentage of women that can do the job. It's very, you can't, there's intense training. There's a lot that goes into it. You have to be very physically fit. You can't, not anybody can be a firefighter. I probably couldn't do it. I mean, I've been in the military. I've done, but as far as being a firefighter, I don't think I could do it. And that's not a roast against me. There's a lot of guys that can't do it. But the physical demands of being a firefighter, they're intense. And there's not a lot of women that can do it. It's men are scientifically stronger than women. You can say that that's not true, but it's a scientific fact. And I don't look if you're a woman and you can be a firefighter, you pass all the tests, you got that physical, aptitude that you can be a firefighter. Good on you. I'm happy for you. As long as you can do the job, I don't care. But this crap has got to stop.
On to respond to crises, and today it is taking a step to resolve one of its own. The department's first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau will launch in January, 1 year since its first ever female fire chief, Kristen Crowley, was appointed.
So by creating this new bureau, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau, now we actually have the staff to do the work when it comes to doing a deep dive in regard to how we do business, how we take care of one another in the fire stations and in our work environment.
The plan is to do so by adding training and enforcing accountability. Calls for accountability have echoed for years. In 2021, women's advocacy groups, including one representing female firefighters, pushed for changes at the highest level, saying a system within the department exposes them to abuse, bullying, and a culture of intimidation and retaliation.
Look, like I said, I don't care. If you can do the job, good on you. I'm happy for you. If that's what you want to do, fine with it, as long as you can do the job. But this does not. It takes a lot of stuff out. Like, let me show you. For example, in the military, the DEI crap in the military, women, the PT standards for the women, the physical testing for the women the threshold is a lot lower for women than it is for the men. I don't agree with it. I think it should be the same across the board because of the fact that you're put into the military, the firefighters, police officers, across the board. You put into situations where you have to meet those requirements, and if you don't meet those requirements, then it's not good. Look, female police officers are put into bad situations. Females in the military, if you go on the front line, it's a bad situation. If you don't meet those requirements, you're going to be in a bad spot. I don't want to see that. You have to have those physical requirements in order to do the job. That's all it is. And I don't agree with the DEI crap. I just don't. That being said, now Elon Musk has put out he's going to be putting Starlink out there to help, just like he did with North Carolina. I think it's great. I'm glad that he helps out. I think he's a good humanitarian, and it's good. He wants to help, and I appreciate the fact that he does. He's got the resources, and he's okay with helping. I think it's a good thing. But he's putting in Starlink out there, and to help out. So we'll check this out.
The reason that you're able to see us right now is because of a Starlink connection that we just got today. That's the only reason we're able to hear and communicate with you guys right now, because there's absolutely no cell service at all in this whole area. The only reason that you're able to see us right now is because
there's no cell service in the area at all. The towers are gone. So Starlink, Elon said, here's some Starlink. Make sure you guys can report. He's trying to help out, and I appreciate that. But this, look, again, it all comes down to the mismanagement. There's been opportunities where they could have done things and they didn't. The water, not clearing the brush, all that dead tree brush and leaves and branches and everything else. You got to clear that out. They let it go for years. The water not being able to come in and having fresh water. It's just, what did they think was going to happen? That's what it boils down to. They put other things ahead of this, thinking, oh, it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened for years. We're not going to. Well, now it's happening. Now they look like idiots, and people are suffering because of it. That's what it comes down to. But look, I'm going to end it there. That's all I got for now. Look, if you like what you saw, hit the subscribe, follow, and I'll see y'all on the next one, and God bless.